Here's to you, dear listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Metal Gear Monday's Revengeance, where you'll find your favorite conversations around Metal Gear and Kojima-related content delivered to you through tactical podcast action. We are moving swiftly through our Portable Ops Season 2 edition, and with me, because I'm certainly not doing this alone, I have no desire to do that, I have some Metal Gear twins? Question mark? Mr. Chris Hampton.
Hello,
What's up,
hello.
man?
How's it going?
I love it. How's things? Good?
Things are wonderful. Happy to be here with you all today.
I like it.
I missed your shiny faces.
Yeah. We have perfect lighting in our little recording corners. And also, twin number 2, maybe number 1 in your hearts, Miss Tori Cortez. How we doing, Tori?
Also, number 1 to be born. Sorry, but I think Chris, I think everybody needs to know I was born first.
Were you?
Yeah.
In this like analogy,
In this
scenario,
fiction,
us being
yes.
twins.
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
I was confused for a second.
No,
You
Chris-
were born
Hold on.
first, Story. It's like what's the Roman? I came out and I was like holding your foot too, so like I came second.
Yes. And I'm the older brother that like didn't want to play baseball, but was like forced to play sports kind of a thing. I get it. I know this analogy pretty well. I get it.
I'm trying to figure out how baseball factors into this, but I like the imagery.
I just pick generic ass sport. There's no,
Okay.
I didn't hate baseball. I didn't play it much when I was a kid though. I was good to it in a sense. But once I got glasses, I was terrible. I couldn't hit a ball to save my life. So now I am in spite of baseball. And I get fat doing nothing.
Oh, this is fun, positive energy.
Oh, I love it. No, I'm feeling great about it. I had my little treats. They taste delicious. Had myself a pregame beverage before this recording, so I'm happy. I'm feeling great.
What were
being
you
honest.
snacking on, Warren? I was curious about that.
So I have
This
they're
is
called-
important on-air
There you
material.
go. Well, they're also in the loudest packaging possible. Just if anybody was curious. But they're referred to as Mystery Monkeys Gummy Candy.
Well, they sure
Pretty good
looked
flavors, though.
mysterious.
I enjoyed them.
I saw a blue one of an interesting hue. You know what? This is not interesting. We should probably move on.
Welcome to Food Chat with MGM.
I can't believe I bungled it a second time, you guys.
That's all right. Well, here we are. Now
take
this is it. Now
two.
you got to choose it.
We're doing it.
I love it. So, if you have left off, listening audience, and those we are so thankful for, we have left off with a pretty big cliffhanger. A snake is captured and potentially interrogated, which we are super excited for. But before we get into the story, Tori, I believe we have a patron that we must thank, as we do in every mainline episode.
Oh, you know we do. So, if you're new to the show, by the way, this is a thing we like to do every week. We like to thank one of our patrons by name on air and talk about how great they are, if we know them. If we don't, we like to encourage them to reach out a little more and get to know us, because we wouldn't still be here doing this without you guys. So, without further
Confirmed.
ado, yes, I concur. Chris, do you concur?
I do concur.
Excellent. So without further ado, Mr. Justin Egan is our patron of the week today, and looks like he's been with us for a little over 6 months.
Yes, he's one of our Revengeance babies.
Oh,
Sorry, Justin, if you don't like being called baby, but we love you either way.
Oh, but
and I don't.
you're BB in our
Yeah.
hearts now.
Yes, he's our little BB. I just don't know if we've talked, so screen names in Discord, obviously they don't say your name. So I don't know if we may have talked to Justin every day for the last couple months. But Justin, if you are a patron when you hear this and you have not been active in our Discord, please feel free to do so, because we're pretty active and we really enjoy, especially meeting our patrons and learning a lot about them, because you probably are the man.
Or, right into the show. Send us an email at metalgearsmonday.gmail. metalgearmondays@gmail.com.
That was a swift segue for we are doing a listener episode as we do at the end of every season. So if you guys are interested, just add a little subject line, makes it a tiny bit easier. But we always end our seasons with that. Feel free to send it in. You can just contact us if you'd like regardless. But if hey, this is for that episode, throw it in there and we'll be sure to read it out. But yeah, hi Justin, you're the man.
Thanks, Justin.
One last one in there. You're the best, dude. So how are we feeling, guys, with where we left off? Are you guys a little shaken up because Snake is captured? Noel didn't complete his mission, technically, but he did best Snake with Cunningham and everybody. So you think we're going to be able to save him? Like, what do you guys think? We haven't played the game yet, so.
I don't think Snake's going to make it, you guys.
This is it, guys. Confirmed. Story ends right here.
I think this is our
episode.
last episode.
This is the episode where Big Boss dies.
Yeah.
Yep. This is it.
I bet you guys didn't see that coming.
Yep.
What a
in our hearts,
twist.
he died in 5, but wah, wah.
Or maybe even 3.
Yeah, no kidding. Some hot takies. Ooh, little takies here early. All right. So, I mean, I don't know. If you guys are cool, I feel quite comfortable to swim right on into the story, unless there's anything you guys want to drop right before we get started.
No, you breaststroke your way into this.
Beautiful. Yeah, just
Paint us in, Warren.
let's get in there real quick.
Paint us a happy
It's
little
really-
tree first.
Oh, I would love to. Black canvas. Maybe get some cyan and some cadmium yellow.
Oh, please, but don't forget the... hold on, what is it? Phthalo blue. Didn't we have... hold
Phthalo,
on.
that's right.
Did we not have a patron... Not a patron... Well, yeah, a patron in our Discord named Phthalo blue?
We did at one point, I think.
Extra patron shout out. Hold on, I have to confirm this.
Everybody changes their Discord names
Oh, I know.
each week, so it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, and if you're a patron, we'll date this crazily because I was required to change my name before the end of today. So if you go back and my name is still that, you'll know exactly when we recorded this episode.
Oh no, I think we lost Phthalo blue, you guys. That's too bad.
Or he changed his name.
Okay, Phthalo
If you're
blue, let us
Phthalo
know.
Blue, reach out.
Please.
Yeah.
It's important.
Come back. Let's chat. Let's
Come
chat it out.
back.
I want to talk some colors with you.
And some
excited
Bob
for
Ross. That's our new side
Yes.
show, right?
What, Bob Ross stuff?
Bob Ross bum days.
Haikus and Bob Ross with the MGM team. I'm ready. Let's do this.
So yeah, about diving into portable ops.
Yeah, so... The story of Portable Ops. So again, we left off with a pretty sweet boss fight with Null. And as the story goes, we were bested and Snake was taken captive. And I thought it was a pretty cool story concept to have that happen, to where normally we start as Snake in an interrogation chair in any other game. But in this game, we're given Roy Campbell and Jonathan talking about, like, well, we got to get them back, right? They're going to try and get info out of them. We got to do this. And pretty cool. So I give that some credit. And we play as Jonathan, no matter what, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, I know you can choose to play as him. Obviously, it's part of the gameplay mechanics. But as far as he is the main driving force. So we have to find Snake's whereabouts. We go back to the silo. So we don't have to go too wild, but we talked last episode around how they're introducing mechanics you could have already been using in the game, but you basically have to get intel from the high rank officer. So again, kind of how they do it. You can't just shoot your way through. You have to actually get info from people and interrogate them. And as soon as we start to do that, we are on a cut scene with Gene and Cunningham. And they're discussing the interrogation of Snake. And again, Cunningham is obsessed with the philosopher's legacy. Like, it might be a third of his dialogue is lines about, or the actual words, philosopher's legacy.
Yeah, what's with that?
Yeah, good.
Like,
I don't know. He's
what's
so
with money?
obsessed with it.
Why do people want it?
Yeah, right? It's the root of all good, right?
It's kind of dumb. We don't need it anyway.
But
Philosopher's legacy.
Yeah, I do enjoy. I actually thought, so Gene, up until this moment, I've been a little underwhelmed by Gene. Outside of him doing like that cool, like he could stop Null without even trying in that last cutscene in the previous episode. I thought that looked very cool. It sort of showed he had some sort of power or prowess, or other than just like people listen to him, quote unquote. I love his little like truth serum talk, because Cunningham's like, well, normally we do this, and trust me, I have other means to get it. And Gene's like, those don't work. Like, even if they do, they're not going to tell us what we actually want to know. So truth serums are like, that's doo-doo. Like, don't do that. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I normally that's like that's the answer. It's like, oh, we'll just, we have means, and they do some crazy needle pull. You know what I mean? But it was pretty cool. Cunningham gets, he steps away because he feels like a loser now. And Gene has a chat with Snake. And Gene gives Snake the lowdown, and this is where we're going to definitely open up some discussion here, is we get the lowdown on his Metal Gear plot, the setup, and a long discussion about the Russian economy and the fallout of the gameplay that is Metal Gear Solid 3 and how it affected Russia and the rise of espionage beginning. He talks about multiple independent re-entry vehicles and Russians' balance of power with the CIA and Metal Gear, and the Cold War and the loss of the legacy has left them war poor, and the whole Fox mission is to guard the Metal Gear as a sham, and Fox is there to steal it and give it to the Russians. It's this whole freaking plan. What do we think about Gene's plan outside of how it's delivered to us? You're more than welcome to chime in that too, but what do we feel about like sort of what Gene's whole thing is moving forward, at least by this point of the game?
I mean, he's saying specifically that he wants to create a world of his desire. There's some really strong megalomania vibes coming from Gene, and it's, I don't know, this is one of the things that, now that Chris has mentioned it, what's up with money? What's up with wanting to rule the world? It's, I don't know. I agree that...
What is this, Scarface?
I was going to make a Bond joke. I'm like, yeah, I guess it's just you want to rule the world?
Yeah, I just suppose as a villain, I'm not really thrilled with Gene. I think I will say once we get to his boss fight, I thought that was okay. But, yeah, I don't know. His motivations didn't do anything for me. It just didn't do enough to justify everything in my mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it does. Chris, what do you think with that? I mean, it kind of pivots a little bit later in the game. Like, we learn a little bit more about Gene's, like, it wasn't my whole plan,
Yeah.
There's some extra stuff we'll get into later. So everybody that's sort of screaming at us right now for not knowing the whole story, we're trying not to necessarily spoil everything.
We're talking about this in chronological events of the game, so chill out.
Not only that, but just so you guys have a little idea of what's going on, I've been revisiting my notes a chunk at a time as we record these, and at this point I have forgotten what happened in the game. So I genuinely have forgotten.
Incredible.
I don't remember I know it's I remember writing the lines, "That's not my real plan?" ? Like,
yes.
that was an actual line delivered.
Yes. Confirmed. Yep. But
that's
before
not
we
my
get into
real plan.
Yes. You're not going to be anywhere near this investigation.
I sort of feel like, from a strategy perspective, Gene's off. Like, it's a really complicated scheme that he's got going on,
So
and,
I thought, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say, like, I have a Six Sigma belt certification, and from a project management perspective, you really just want the less links in the chain as possible. There's less opportunity for things to go wrong. And what Gene has done is create a very complicated, linky chain that's going to probably end up choking him.
Yeah.
Probably.
I like that Project Management Gear Mondays corner that we just got there from
Welcome
Chris.
to professional development with Chris Hampton.
Yeah. I mean, Gene could use a little PR. If
A
I'm being
little.
honest. He could use a little PR guy. Now, overall, I thought this was pretty clever. So Gene, I love the name Successor Project. That's a pretty dope name for that. And it gives leaders special powers with their voice, which we had already sort of alluded to. And they definitely they don't show it per se, but when Gene talks, people listen straight up. I mean, a lot of times, which is pretty cool in a sense. And it was apparently something that the boss was also a part of, as in the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. So I love bringing it. Anytime we can get the boss involved, I'm probably going to sort of like have a soft spot and probably be like, oh, that's a cool idea. You know, like, I like that. She was part of the successor project. And again, people listen to her too. We kind of picked on her and the Cobras in this Metal Gear Solid 3 season. It's just like these guys just went AWOL for a few years, and then she comes back to Russia, and they're all like, yeah, boss, let's go spit hornets at this dude in the woods. You know what I mean? Like, but if she's got special powers that they never talked about, not a bad retcon. Like, it actually felt... We just thought she was dope, and she's also just apparently enhanced to also be dope, which I thought was cool. It doesn't, like, ruin anything. I thought that was a pretty clever idea, and I like that Gene sort of sees Snake as his brother, because...
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the boss was like, she was doping? Is that what... So, like, she was engineered?
He said that the boss was also part of the successor project. So I don't know if she maybe helped design it. Was she also part of it in that sense? Like, they don't really...
Okay, so they don't say for sure that she has been modified.
We don't know that, but...
Okay.
Look, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I don't know any women in this world that are as fucking awesome as the boss. Still,
come on. She can just exist that way. Come on, Warren. God damn it.
I'm kidding. But again, I like the idea because, again, chances are my first thought was actually that she probably helped design it because she created CQC. She helped create the Fox unit. Like, she did a lot. She was basically like behind everything in some sense of the word. Either it was to get her or help her or save her. And I really appreciated that.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny to me, though, about the Philosopher's Legacy? Because we're picking up from the end of 3, and I remember, like, at the end of the game, they're like, oh, it's on a microfiche, right?
Yes.
And it makes me think of, like, those old carousel, you know, the let's look at pictures from the Grand Canyon vacation. And I just imagine, like, they're like, man, I really want to see those photos, man.
I want to see that legacy, baby.
Let me see the legacy.
Yeah. Or like the small little, what do you call them, cartridges you put in a little kaleidoscope type thing.
Just gonna say that, the little kaleidoscope. What are they called? Snapshots?
I don't
remember what they're called.
Yeah.
God, why don't I know that?
It does look just like that. It almost looks like it's just like a little slice of cheese you put in your sandwich, but it goes in a computer and gives you money, I guess. Or
a cheese sandwich that you put in a computer. Boring
to
minutes.
See pictures of vacations.
Look, guys, I'm not saying I'm technologically the smartest person in the room here.
I mean,
all I know is I read a book that you put cheese in a sandwich and you can get money. Okay. That's what I've read.
Well, you're not wrong there, but I mean, what if the Philosopher's Legacy is just like some photos from the boss and the Sorrow's wedding night or something like that?
It's worth a lot of money.
I was just going to say high value asset right there.
I mean,
so Ocelot would definitely want that. Weird, actually, now that I just said that.
If I were Ocelot, I wouldn't want that, but...
That's what I'm saying. I just realized I was like, no, that's not good.
That's
not
right. That's a good point.
But the Russians and the Chinese gotta have it big time. Let's send a sultry spy to go get some nudies.
Man. But you know what? It's like probably not far off from what the concept originally was in Kojima's mind, that dirty little perv boy.
Well, yeah, it just, I mean, they don't do a good job of showing, but it has to just be very, like, it's half of the fortune for one. So I guess it's 2 of those discs or whatever they are. So China thought they had one, and now the CIA has one, and we don't know where the other is the issue, I guess. I don't know. Look, Ocelot's going to get involved, y'all. Spoilers. So we'll get there.
I bet you didn't know
coming.
that.
Yeah.
Bet you didn't see Ocelot coming.
Never. So again, Gene sees Snake as his brother, which I do like because, again, Snake is a true disciple of the boss. I do like anything that ties to the boss. I love the dynamic and the performance in the cutscenes. David Hayter does a really good job, and Big Boss is still compelling, and he is brutally beaten. So, like, just seeing him emote through artwork like that, like literally having very little left in the tank as far as, because apparently Cunningham is very good at torture, which we learned in the opening cutscene. So Snake has been in the guest house, which of course we learned through intel, and the location can be found at the rail bridge. So let's head to the rail bridge. Oh wait, hold on, truck noise. So
Oh wait, before before we,
Go ahead,
I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't talk about the gameplay part, or I don't know if we skipped over that, but I just gotta say this part because it leads into the single note I have for a section down the line. You guys playing as Jonathan was awesome. I love Jonathan. He has my heart, but he doesn't have a trank gun.
Yeah.
He doesn't
No,
have
he
a
does not.
trank gun. I didn't know what to do without my trank gun. I felt lost, and my strategy was forced to change, and I didn't care for it.
I mean, I just went ham and,
Yeah.
stacked them bodies. But
You didn't even drag him. Let him there to rot.
yeah, no. But it's interesting because I think this is the only Metal Gear game that lets you play as people other than the main protagonist.
Sure.
This far.
Well, yeah. So I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
no,
that's
even-
true
even-
because five has that, but 5 doesn't let you do it on the main missions. It's only when you like do the free play and you replay certain stuff.
Right.
Does Peace
I was
Walker
going to
not?
say for story.
I don't. Peace Walker, you have a team with you, but you still play as Snake. And I think
Gotcha.
even a multiplayer, the way the game presents it is like
You're always
you play
Snake.
as Snake,
Yeah.
and like
Right.
the person you're playing online with just appears as a non-Snake, and
that's
vice
right.
versa.
Oh, clever.
But in this game, actually, I tend to bring Zero with me a lot. Because
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Zero's my boy. He's sharp
Nice.
looking. He's got that bomber jacket, and slick back
Nice.
hair, He
like
kind of
that.
sucks though.
He's
like
good
you
at the
think-
one.
You think Jonathan's bad without that trank gun? Zero ain't got nothing.
Yeah, no kidding. He's got a sweet ass coat.
Okay, so this is a thing I didn't do. I'm glad we're talking about this. I didn't recruit any of our fun main guys. And how do you do that?
So, good question. When we did the Good Guys episode, I don't remember if I included Zero, but I know I talked about Paramedic.
Yeah,
I know I talked about
I don't recall
Python
Zero
and
coming up.
Null during gameplay. What we'll do is, because I don't have it in front of me, I don't have my notes, but I will be sure to potentially include it in a future ep. Maybe when we do like our little ending, that kind of stuff. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of them are very convoluted. Some are like
Or-
call this codec.
Zero's
Right now.
complicated to unlock. You have to complete the game with you have to complete the game on a PlayStation Portable that has the Metal Gear Solid digital graphic novel on the memory stick
Oh my
as
god.
well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to have like 2 separate apps, I guess, portable apps plus this graphic novel thing. And when you
Okay.
complete the game will recognize, oh, you did this, here's Zero, and you can use him now.
Okay.
man.
All right.
Well, good thing, because I didn't have Zero. I used the, I guess like the comms captain. I don't know his exact name because there's a couple of them that are like that, but they're the ones that have like the dope suit with the red beret hat on.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Okay, so
He's
did
really
you guys get any of the other main players? Any of our other?
I got Paramedic.
Okay.
Because that was like a simple, I believe it's, if I remember correctly, it's like a codec call that you call, and there's like a code you have to know. And I just,
Okay.
full disclosure, I know everybody heard it, I was using a guide because I wanted to get the story down pat for talking on this for
Well,
my
then,
first playthrough.
Can I make a request of our listeners then?
Oh,
Maybe maybe for the listener episode, y'all could write in and tell us if and how you recruited any extra members.
Yeah, I like that. There you go. You got homework, listeners.
Y'all better do it. No, I'm just kidding. That's a fun energy to come at our listeners with.
Yeah, no
Do
kidding.
it or you fail
Get to
class.
work. All right, so we make our way to the rail bridge, right? Now, I made it a point to say this right before we go. It's a little convoluted when we talk about Gene's plan. However, I thought it was pretty sound as far as basically how he like kind of screwed over the CIA. I actually was like, how does he know this? And why is he's less interested in the legacy and more interested in why he needs it, which I thought was compelling, not just I need the money. He more like the money is to move forward with what I want to do. In his heart is the right thing to do, which we'll learn later in the game. But overall, I thought the actual like screwing over the CIA, the abandoned base, the use the successor project, I guess genome, whatever we want to call it, the I guess what do they call them? Parasites. I guess
Right.
it's parasite technology. Since it's this early in the timeline, and I'm assuming it's probably a chunk of what turns into the Metal Gear Solid 5 parasitic issue. I would assume this is probably because it's a delivery system through talking. So that's interesting. But yeah, so otherwise, what I thought was interesting is they've mentioned like an informant a couple times, which we sort of dropped the ball on that. But
It's me.
if you've played any, yeah, it's Chris. It's the Chris IA is who the informant is. It's anytime it's the CIA and it's an informant, we always know who it is. It's Ocelot.
It's Chris.
And it's Chris, right? And we'll get into it, but it's a pretty cool concept of him being able to pull that off. So I really enjoyed that. So again, as we get ready to head to the rail bridge, out of nowhere, Null comes in and wrecks shop because he has not completed his mission to kill Snake. Cool, I get it. Makes perfect sense. He's pretty convincing that you told me to kill him and you didn't let me, so we need to do something about this. Ursula, Jean does their best to stop him, and this is where Jean stops Null like nothing, and realizes that Snake and Null have a bond. That's clearly something they have between them. We as players know because they just had that conversation during the boss fight that he was the kid from Mozambique, and he knows who he is. We know that it's Gray Fox or Frank Yeager. And I thought that was great. So we find ourselves back at the bridge with our team hunting for Snake, obviously looking for intel. And again, I don't know if there's anything new as far as gameplay in this section, because this, like, part of this was because we're backtracking to places we've previously been, so they're sort of using our knowledge of previous zones to probably have maybe... Because Jonathan's a great character, but if you compare Jonathan's stats to Snake's, it's like half the life, 2/3 of the stamina. He doesn't have the ability to be silent, so it's more on your gameplay, not, leveling up, quote unquote, because Jonathan doesn't have that,
From a gameplay perspective too, it's interesting because, like, we've always played as the legendary boss.
Yes.
Right. And it's as someone who just played the game from the player perspective, it's like, oh, this guy's legendary, but like, I mess up all the time. Right? My Snake isn't that legendary, or if he is,
Here we go.
There are different standards in the world. But yeah. So this like gives you that kind of comparison, that A/B of like, oh, well, like you thought it was tough with Snake. Like here you are with Jonathan, who is like poor. Like your gameplay experience is limited because of the character and the way it interacts with the game world differently. So that was interesting to me, how they used gameplay and story to kind of create that experience. And there's a lot of these little moments in the game, and I think that's what makes it a little special, a little interesting,
Agreed.
I think that was my argument of like, guys, we got to do portable ops, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
we're definitely doing portable ops because it gets forgotten. This is stuff that doesn't usually happen in Metal Gear games for the most part. At least this exact concept. Tori, do you agree with like again, your love for Jonathan has been well documented, and I will never discount your love for him. But was it a little bit harder to play as Jonathan without your trank gun?
Yes, it was. I had a love-hate relationship with Jonathan at that point. Well, but it wasn't Jonathan's fault. I can't even be mad at him.
Here we go. What a great relationship you have with Jonathan.
Yeah, it was tougher. As I said before, I had to change my strategy. I got caught a lot more. Because I just didn't I don't know. If I can, I typically try and play as pacifist as possible. But no, I just had to straight start murking some people after a little while. It just had to happen.
My God, they took your boss.
Yeah.
Bodies. We want some toe tags. We got to do this. I get
That's true.
I feel you.
Toe tags.
So, Elisa. Of all people, she pulls some shade. So we're back to Snake. So Elisa comes in, and again, we've been real sort of friendly with Elisa, and we get why, because they have a moment earlier in the game.
Yeah, real friendly.
And I like her little why don't you go get this? I got to talk to the patient or whatever, he's literally dying in a chair. And the guy's like, okay. But I did like their dialogue. I like Elisa a lot. I like the character, and I like their dynamic because it isn't gross, even though I think it's this episode we're going to get to where it gets a tiny bit gross. Roy, you dog.
Thank you so much for saying that. I have that in my notes.
I think it's this episode, if I remember correctly.
It is.
But if not, we're going to get there.
Roy has a problem in his relationship with women.
Yes.
Yeah, and it
also
starts early.
Yeah, we learn it's a character flaw from his younger years. It's not a past trauma. He's been doing it a long time, you weirdo. So she's talking about how he's brutally beaten, and they kind of, make reference, I guess, to basically Snake's junk is just, paste at this point because Cunningham is a psycho.
Oh. His Snake is also not legendary.
Didn't he have radiated balls already?
Yes, which they will talk about it. They're going to talk about this. Yeah, and I can't wait to get to that conversation because although that's a funny sort of line, it's a little cheesy, but the content is what's really good in that conversation. So Elisa reveals that she has TKE. She has telekinesis and communicates with Snake through her mind. Which is okay, I kind of thought that because Ursula, they're twins, she's got powers. They sort of talked about how they were, close, and now they don't talk to each other, so I would assume that was pretty normal. And she catches Snake up on her mission and her premonitions of Snake destroying a Metal Gear. Pretty cool. Okay. And then we find the location of the guest house, obviously, right? What, you don't think Snake killing a Metal Gear is cool, man?
I mean,
it's every game.
That's probably the most predictable thing that you could say about Snake is him killing a Metal Gear.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like someone saying, "Oh, I'm a psychic," and they come and I'm like, "Oh, really? Tell me more." And they're like, "Yeah, you have curly hair."
Oh. When you're older, your hair will be curly. It's a good point.
It's curly now.
I guess I never thought of that.
Curly hair.
Sorry for anybody that can't see that, but when Tori does Snake, her whole gesture, her whole face and her shoulders, it's amazing.
David had
you have to get into character.
It's an entire persona that can only be seen.
It can only be described as probably a 75-year-old heavy smoker.
That's yeah, just
think of an old lady with cats with a permanent slump and a constant cigarette in her hand.
Get me a goddamn cigarette. I love it.
So much fun to derail the conversation with that.
Yeah. So we make our way to the guest house. Now, I don't believe we've talked about this place before, if I'm not mistaken, but the guest house, I thought this was a pretty cool map. Very big for what is called the guest house. I would not have expected the map to be as large as it was. And I thought there was a lot of cool cubbies and places to find stuff. A lot of cool places to hide and find, climb and crawl. Again, it seems a little few and far between, but I do make it a point that there's of I guess the 12 or 20 maps, there are 8 that are really good progression as far as what the player needs to do for a map, and I like that a lot. We agree on the guest house. Is there any fun stories before we actually get to rescuing Snake?
Not that I can recall. I'm struggling to remember the guest house a little bit, though. So is this the one where a suit is up, like, on the higher level?
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So this one, yeah, the only thing I have to say about this one is that, again, I wasn't doing so hot without my usual weapon. And I may have gotten caught like 3 or 4 times and then accidentally stumbled into the right place with an alert still going on.
Oh,
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, other than that,
Cool.
it went okay.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, then, here we go. We enter in and we are rescuing Snake, quote unquote. We have a moment, and Cunningham intervenes. And again, 1/3 of his dialogue is dead set that Snake stole half of the legacy. And I did kind of like, they kind of pulled out, like, why the hell do you care so much? Like, why is this so important to you? To, like, maybe he's got alternative motives. Talk to the Pentagon, like, just like weird shit. Like, it just like Cunningham's a new character for us, but they clearly made efforts to, like, that he's been embedded in other things that we've heard in previous chronological stories from the game. Like, there's obviously something going on that this guy's been in the background for a while. In at least in my headcanon, the way they did it. Elisa rolls in to save the day. And brings them back to the squad. So it's like a pretty cool little, not really a firefight, but it's just more of like, we got to get the hell out of here, right? And again, I did have to call out that I put a little gross moment of Elisa being too young and Roy saying, but I think he says she'll be a real looker. Is that what he says? But I put that she'll be hot in 5 years. Or no, he says, in 5 years, she'll be a real knockout, I think is what he says.
Ugh.
God.
It's just like, okay, dude. And
Heavy
the
eye
fact that
roll.
he also implied that, like, Snake was like, hey, this telekinetic chick, like, she's cool and all, and she's been helping me out, but really it's because I'm trying to get it in. Like, no, like, that's not even close to what it was, but Roy assumed that.
Well,
Like,
so
this
this
one,
is
she's too young, bro. Like, don't do that. And it's like, that's not why we're doing this.
this is coming after the conversation where Roy just like relentlessly dogs on, like, without meaning to, relentlessly dogs on Snake's inability to, like, land a woman, apparently. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
talking about how what was it? It just his conversation kept accidentally stumbling into, oh well, at least your situation isn't this bad, and it's like exactly Snake's situation.
Yeah.
I care.
Yeah.
I would like to find that and cue it here. Oh wait, it's not audio. Damn it.
Cue
No,
it here where Tori reads it. in a
Yeah.
very
Oh no,
monotone-
actually, yeah. Okay, Tori, cue it here. Cue it
Yeah,
here.
they're-
You feeling down, Snake? Nah. Ah, I just remembered. There's another principle in psychology called the Romeo and Juliet effect. It says that the tougher the conditions faced by two lovers, the stronger their bonds of affection become. So don't give up yet, Snake. As long as she's not like some agent from an enemy country who's on the run because she screwed up her last mission. I'm sure you two will find each other somehow. Snake? Do me a favor. Just leave me alone for a while.
So we, after they escape, we learn of Elisa's true backstory with Jean. Again, I legitimately find this compelling. The telekinesis, the nuclear aftermath, and again, I know they said it. I know I'm going to butcher it. Please, you can shout at me in the comments if you'd like. I'm going to say the Kishtim Mountains, Kishtim in the Ural Mountains, I believe is how it's pronounced. Ursula and Elisa lost their parents in the famous explosion that happened at Kishtim. She wants Snake to destroy the Metal Gear to stop nuclear war, or at least potential nuclear war, and says that Snake will be a good father one day. And this is where Chris just brought up irradiated balls, and he kind of just makes like I don't think I'll be a father one day, or something like that. And it's like, we all know you got irradiated balls, you weirdo.
No, I think
like-
that just means that he has abandonment issues.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, Snake, you're going to be a great father someday.
Oh yeah.
It's just like a backhanded dig. Like she's actually just trying to knock him. Like she's not even trying to be nice to him.
Someone considered an
She's
international terrorist is going
Yeah.
to be an excellent father.
Yep, she's negging Snake. She's like using negative reinforcement for him to like destroy a Metal Gear. I like the psychology end of it. So she said that Snake was the first time that her and her sisters had visions that did not match, which seems a little cliche, even though I don't know if I've heard of this per se, of like sort of like dueling telekinetics or psychics that are like dead set on something different happening with the same subject. So I guess it felt like it was obvious, but then again, when I started like thinking about it, I'm like, I can't think of anything that really did this before as far as storytelling. And I like that. I thought that was pretty good. And she warned Snake, the one thing we now know about Gene outside of the Successor Project is crazy reflexes, which is why he can also command a perfect soldier, Null, potentially others in the future. And again, anytime they say that, knowing that the Successor Project included the boss, I'm like, maybe that's why the boss was a badass. Like in general, like maybe she might have been the best anyway, but she wanted to definitely be the best. So she could still be in charge of all the genes that were coming in the Successor Project in my head.
I like
So
that.
yeah, so
I can get on board with
that. As far as the Elisa Ursula stuff, I don't know what it is, but I really liked the performance. I believe it's Tara Strong. If I'm wrong, I'll probably correct myself before the end of this episode. But the Elisa Ursula story, I legitimately appreciate the story they're telling. I like the dynamic of they're both sort of in debt to Gene in a sense, and the two of them are on different paths, but sort of understand. They almost have respect for Gene, but they stand differently on what he wants to do moving forward. I appreciate that. And as far as a story, like a narrative perspective, for this to happen so quickly in the game, like this isn't a revelation. This is just progression of the story, which I really, I liked, if I'm being honest. I really was taken by the sisters. I thought that was a really cool idea. How do you guys feel about Elisa and Ursula?
So, okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. If we are permitted to speak in a meta sense briefly.
Oh, it's a Kojima game. Absolutely.
Yeah. So did Kojima just steal this whole plot beat and reuse it in Peace Walker with pause?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to like check that real quick.
Yes.
We can't talk about this yet because we're not to that episode yet. But if you're talking about her little plot twist,
But I think the whole kind of what the character functions
Okay.
as is in the story.
got you.
Like that too. But everything about this character just seems to be recycled into pause later on.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of, like, again, we'll get to it, but I love Paz too.
Yeah.
I really appreciate what she brings to Peace Walker when we get to it. And again, Tara Strong's performance is so good.
So put some clothes on though. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
inappropriate. She's a child. She's a child.
There's a
Thank
time
you.
where it's a moment of
God.
power and she's in her underwear for no reason. And I can't
Yeah.
say when that is because I don't want to ruin part of Peace Walker, but like, yeah, it's a little gross, I guess, when you think about it. Like, even though
Kojima.
yeah. But
Kojima.
I gotta say, we didn't get that with these two. Like, we don't really get gross. We get Roy being gross, but she didn't ever do anything. Like, she didn't walk into the room like in her underwear and was like, "Oh, you caught me getting dressed. I'm
Yeah.
16." You know what I mean? Like, it was just more like she asked him a question and he was like, "Whoa, like I'm like you're a kid." And she was like, "Well, that's not what I was asking." But I appreciate that. Like, thank you for not being a fucking
Yeah.
creep. So now we're close. Like, I like
well,
that.
and how much of that is like attributed to the different writers on this project versus the more mainline project, you know, because this was realistically, this was a side game, right? Produced by
Oh,
a
yeah.
different team.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys are having conversations with Ryan about that. And I would be interested to hear on his perspective about the differences between Paz and Elise's storyline and kind of how they mirror each other and how, you know, the Metal Gear series as a whole just tends to circle the drain a bit. It reuses a lot of the same plot beats, and that's sort of a theme overall. But in this case, it feels weak, and I don't know. I think Elise is a stronger character, in my opinion. She's more well written, and it's a lot less tropey in the way that the psychology of the character is handled.
Agreed.
Sure. Oh yeah, no, that's a great idea. I totally agree. So we have intel that we have to head to the plant. And I sort of made a joke. Are we familiar with every map yet? Because we are starting to, recycle. Totally fine. It all makes sense. Yep. But again, what I like about this particular map, again, the plant's not a boring map per se. I like checking all the corners. I like finding stuff. I do like that sometimes if you were supposed to find something earlier in the game, it may just pop up in the middle of nowhere because they're like, hey, you might need this item for the next mission.
Oh, hey, by the way, dimwit, you missed this way back there.
Oh, it's so clever enough where I'm like, shit, was I supposed to get that? Where would I get that? And then I'm like, I should have done more intel missions. And then we find intel, get to the hangar, prepare to drop the bombs because we've been making this whole plan to get the Metal Gear. Because Ghost from the previous episode, which we found out, did we find out who Ghost was yet? I don't think so.
We're about to.
Okay. So Ghost told us what to do moving forward. Like, he knows a lot about Metal Gear Solid 3. He knows a lot about the construction and design of the new Metal Gear. And he's telling us how we can sabotage it and win. So we're preparing to drop the bombs. We're in the hangar. We're ready to go. And Gene finds us, and the Metal Gear is already being piloted. And it flies. Did that surprise you guys at all? Did you guys remember a flying Metal Gear being in any of these games?
Not to this point.
I kind of forgot that.
Yeah, it's like a hovercraft kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And we'll get to the fight in a minute. But what's interesting is that Skoronsky, our Russian boy that we love, I thought he was rotting in a jail cell, and apparently we were wrong. And he fires on the men, and he's just going to town with the minigun there, and he somehow misses Gene, which I'm assuming the amazing reflexes. And I just, for my sake, as far as a beer would go, I would definitely tip a vodka to that Russian son of a bitch moving forward. After this scene, I really like Skoronsky. Like, he's just a nut. Like, he's just like a perfect non-moment character that just makes, in a movie, he would chew the shit out of scenery and be like, man, I'm going to remember that guy, even if I don't remember this movie, kind of a thing. He's just really fun. And this is where Gene reveals his secret weapon, his trump card. That
Please, let's rephrase that.
It's his words.
That can't be in the lexicon anymore. Sorry.
No.
Actually,
strike it from the English language.
Can we call it his Donald card? Would that be better?
The Don card? The DC?
The Don card.
Let's do it. Yeah. His secret card. Weapon, his DC.
Dick
his
card.
Don
I like that.
Yes. That Elisa is Ursula. And he basically says something like Ursula awaken. And she can control the unfinished Metal Gear, which is pretty clever. That means nobody else can use it against them because he has some telepaths. Not bad. So now this is where, let's talk about this battle. I'll start it off with, I love the concept. It felt very Metal Gear Solid 1, that it is this pretty cool machine. Again, it can fly. It's being powered by a telepath, but it's in this small containment area. So it can't do what it's really good at because it'll just smack into the walls and it can't really fly out of there the way everything's working. So I thought making it very not contagious, what's the word I'm looking for? Very constricted, very small, very claustrophobic, made me believe more that Snake had a chance to win this fight. If it was just sort of flying around, I think Snake would just have to rock. It could be another Hind D fight or something. So as far as the battle arena itself and sort of your strategy, I basically said all right, are you using TNT or are you using the rocket propelled grenade? So how do we feel about the design? And then what was your weapon of choice for this fight?
I really enjoyed this. I thought, for whatever reason, it was just it was a rhythm I could easily get into once I got there, and it became a quite an enjoyable fight. I did go with the portable rocket launcher or whatever it's called.
The RPG. Love it.
Yeah. Wait, what does that stand for?
Rocket propelled grenade.
That's what you said. Okay. So yeah, I used the RPG and
Ever.
yeah, I just kind of drink break. I just kind of ran around and like, I think I need a refresher on how this goes actually, because I know there's some sort of rhythm and
There's a lot of like storage containers in this room, and
Yeah.
yes,
the kind of rhythm that I fell into is like you have the RPG, and you can also use TNT to attack it. But
I don't think I
yeah.
did any of that.
yeah, you just kind of like drop the TNT, and if you can get it to like go over it, and
You can just,
I think-
like from
detonation that
wherever
way.
you are, you can like blow it up, and it's pretty helpful. I mean,
I
if you
tried
choose to do that.
that in vain for like the first time I attempted this and died. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that ever again. So
Moving on, yeah.
you hide it in these containers, and like it shoots rockets at them and blows them up. So it's a lot of like cover shooting with the rocket launcher. It's sort of this fight. I don't know about you guys, but this room reminds me of those VR rooms in Revengeance.
well, not Revengeance, but I can see how even the VR training kind of seems similar to
Yeah.
this.
And I know what you mean by the design of it. It's like it feels like an unpopulated room,
Yeah.
like fit for one task. And in this particular task, it's defeat Metal Gear Raja, as what it's going to be called. I called it RAXA for so long, and it's Raja, which it took me like 10 times to just say it in a row to be like, okay, we're going to call it Metal Gear Raja now, because it was RAXA in my headcanon for the longest time.
Yeah. I mean, so this is probably the only Metal Gear fight that takes place in the holodeck, but I don't know. I enjoyed the fight. I thought it was fun. It's interesting how you like seeing this design of Metal Gear fit into like how it moves forward, because it's a hovercraft, right?
Yep.
And at the end of 3, Sokolov and Granin, like we had that conversation with Granin, and he's like, "Oh, it's got legs."
Yep. Yeah, it went from rolling to walking.
That
Yeah.
was
Now it
a
floats.
spot on Granin.
Granin came into the podcast for that quick second. Can you bring Chris back now, Granin? Thank you.
Chris is back now.
Thank you.
Yes, and that's kind of been like the big thing with all the Metal Gears is that they're bipedal tanks that go boom.
Yeah.
And
meow.
this
some
honestly
sort of
seems like
laser.
a superior design that would hover instead of walk. That
I
would
totally
make it more
agree.
mobile.
I
So,
agree too.
yeah, riddle me that. Why are they going back to an inferior design after they've made this iteration of it?
Yeah, can we talk about that? Because he says here in a moment. Can we get there, Warren, or am I going to
No,
be
we
skipping
can.
over anything?
Well, I mean, we can float back because it's all part of the. This will all be part of this final the conversation of the story bits and everything going on with this. My only pushback, because I totally agree with you guys. Like, I think this is the superior model, but at least as far as what we know, and I know that there's maybe more of these potentially or whatever, like stuff I don't want to necessarily personally get into, but they need a telekinetic to perfectly use this thing.
That's true.
So maybe telepaths are cool, but maybe Psycho Mantis was like, hey man, I really don't want to sit in a Metal Gear and like control it, but can you just give it some legs and maybe a laser or some shit? Like that'd be cool,
can I
like a radar
just
dish.
Not maybe.
Yeah. Like
Just
so
a rail gun.
yeah, exactly. So like where I totally agree with you guys, I just feel like since he had Ursula, I guess let's agree on this. Do we just call her Elisa, or when she's evil we call her Ursula?
This is specifically where I was wondering, is she Ursula being brainwashed to be Elisa, or is it the other way around?
So in my headcanon, because I don't think they actually
They don't say.
I don't think they explain it. My understanding, I always took it as Elisa was in a war-torn country that suffered, a famous explosion, bombing, and her telekinetic powers, I guess even like in Star Wars, Jedi, there's always a dark side. Like if once you're drunk with power, you can use it for bad or use it for good. And maybe she's always had this sort of conflict between her and the bad. I just always took it as if she was Elisa and the bad side was sort of groomed to be her equal, so that you could just make Ursula arise, not just, they don't battle for it. Like Elisa, you have to awaken Ursula. She's always Elisa before, like, I don't see him say like, and now you're Elisa, so I always take it as she's Elisa default.
That's a good
awaken,
point.
You know what I mean? And it's all
me,
conjecture, but
the reason I ask is because part of me was wondering, back when we were talking about Elisa's conversation with Snake in the cell, part of me wondered if that could have been part of the plan. You know what I mean? But I don't think there's sufficient evidence for that now that we actually talk it out. It was just kind of a thought.
Yeah, my pushback on that is because Elisa was like, if you are concerned, murder me.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
Life will be easier if I'm dead. So
that was my next
She has
thought.
full agency because Ursula doesn't really ever talk about Elisa. Elisa only talks about Ursula, at least in our perspective. We never hear Elisa talk about. We never hear Ursula talk about her sister Elisa.
Did Ursula talk at all?
She has like one or two lines in the helicopter.
Okay.
And she talks about Null once or twice, or the Perfect Soldier, and she doesn't have like a different voice, but it has like a different affect to it. So hard to tell.
Okay.
But I think I thought that was a narrative choice, like why we don't hear her say much. I would argue she is talkative. We just never heard it.
Okay.
So,
I super can't remember some details from this at this juncture. So
so this fight was fine with me. You go for the legs, then they have like the flaps on the Metal Gear RAXA opens and closes. You have to time your shots.
Poor design, honestly.
Poor design. So the boss fight felt a little easier than I thought it should be, but I playing the game, I kind of thought like, well, maybe there's an emotional baggage because you're basically killing Elisa if you win the fight. So maybe that was part of it, like it didn't, like I didn't, it felt like a choice.
Well, but
that it was
were
more
you
for story.
Connected enough to Elisa at this point to really care that much?
I thought Snake was, because I thought she was going to help us because she got him out of the cell.
That's true. She
I
was
was
trying.
like, shit, we're going to have Elisa. Like she's going to kick some ass before this game's over.
But this happened so quickly after that. I don't know if I had the time to be really invested enough,
Sure. Yeah. No, I totally agree that the pacing, while for the huge swaths of this, the pacing works really well moving forward. This is one of those where it's just like, and we learned a thing, and a thing happened, and they're gone, and let's move on, and something else happens. Like it's very, 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 very fast. So we blow up the Metal Gear RAXA, and we kill Elisa. We know it, but then there's a pretty dope cutscene of like all the soldiers are like, oh my god, that's the legendary big boss, and he killed the Metal Gear. We're doomed. Like we lost. Like we're not winning this anymore. Which is pretty cool. That makes kind of sense. I totally get it because we've learned very quickly you can sway them just with having a conversation, let alone seeing that you're also winning, like the war, I guess, of the game. So I guess we're like talking to Gene, but Gene's up on like that big scaffolding, that cliff side, and we're sort of low down. And of course, I put Gene brings up Ocelot, and I was like, nice name drop, asshole. Like, this is where we finally know that it's Ocelot. We sort of already knew that, but he actually
Ocelot.
he basically just name drops him super quick. We get a call from Ghost, and Ghost reveals that not only is Raja a test model, but we also learn that Ghost is Sokolov, who is quote unquote back from the dead. And he doesn't want to see a Metal Gear used on his motherland, Mother Russia. And I just put big history lesson here because they just start talking a lot of stuff. And like this is where I'm like, okay, like I totally get it. This is a Metal Gear game, but I was like, this is a lot. Like we're learning about all the Russia stuff, and then I guess we learned that Sokolov Ghost was in a refugee camp because he survived the gunshot and the brutal beating from oh my God.
Volgin.
Volgin, there it is. I knew it was a V. And I guess he just sort of was there. Gene saves him. Like a lot of Gene saving people, they trust him, which I guess we learned for nefarious reasons. And then I did make like a special note because I laughed. So Gene's talking and he says, "Today's ally, maybe tomorrow's bitter enemy." And I was like, ooh. I see what you did there. Mm-hmm. Pretty clever. It was a little twist on it, but it's like his version of what the boss says, and they're in the same project, so I get it. So Gene uses his vocal power, his successor project concerns, and he convinces the troops, and this is pretty clever how they do this. He convinces the troops that someone out there is committing treason to basically make them all kill each other. I get the feeling this isn't the first time Gene's done this, because he had like a script, basically. Like, obviously he wasn't reading anything, but you can tell that he knows how to use his power to, like basically hit, let's delete the whole thing and start fresh. Like, this plan didn't work out, so I have to move forward.
This felt, I could, really liquid, quote unquote, really liquid ocelot like.
Sure.
If you know what I mean.
Like watch the world burn kind of a thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. And I like a lot of the snake emoting of just like the stop firing. What do you do? Him trying to win. All of them are trying to defend themselves. They don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare of what's going on. Like there's just like it's just a shootout and everybody's murdering everybody, which is insane.
And can I add one more thing?
Yes, please.
My notes say literally, good to hear Sokolov's horrified crying sound is still the same.
Yeah. Oh my God. Sokolov again, like what I don't look, pretty cool idea, right? Sokolov didn't die in MGS3. It's a pretty logical reason. He's like, yeah, I thought my design was pretty good, but clearly Granin had something better and I wanted to go even more than that, right? But then once he said I was going to use it on Russia, it's like, dude, you know how this, you've already been fooled before. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, come on.
Volgin already dropped a nuke in Russia the last time. Like,
take
what are
a
you
hint,
fucking
bud.
doing, dumbass? So, but again, he may have been mind controlled or whatever through the successor project Genes. But of course, Gene beautifully escapes the fray and heads to Metal Gear. Which we learned there's a potential another one because the Raja was a test model. And there's like some final shooting. We're trying to protect each other. We're doing everything. And of course, it appears Snake is about to take a fatal shot and Jonathan jumps in his way and dies in the shootout. Now, I did put this in here and this is for everybody. This is going to be for the listeners too, because I do want to hear from you guys. Did we care enough about Jonathan in this game? Tori, from your response, how did you feel about Jonathan?
I wanted to cry. I miss Jonathan to this day. Yeah, that made me love him even fucking more, man. This is a guy who has displayed the utmost loyalty. He was completely loyal to Gene until, he realized that the wool was being pulled over his eyes. He's been completely loyal to Snake, to the extent that he takes a bullet for him. And that's just, it sucks, but I thought that was a pretty cool way to resolve Jonathan's story. Because obviously Jonathan doesn't come back up as a character later in the series, right? He can't, it would be shitty just to be like, oh, well, that was a really loyal comrade of Snake's and now they don't work together. Oh, well.
Yeah, he gets a card in Metal Gear Acid 2. That's that's the best case scenario for Jonathan.
Right. So it sucks and I'm sad, but I think it makes sense. It makes sense story-wise. And you can't expect 0 casualties from Team Alpha,
True. What about you, Chris, with Jonathan? Is that your boy?
Anyone that says that this game isn't canon disrespects Jonathan's memory. And disrespects the memory of probably one of the most compelling characters in the Metal Gear canon, in my opinion.
Hey, that's what's up. Cheers to that.
You know what? Cheers to Jonathan. Fucking good call, Chris.
Yeah, because
gotta pour one out for my homie.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real, because a lot of the characters in this game, it's like there's only 5 people in the whole world and everyone else is an NPC. But this game makes an attempt to give a voice to those characters. And, you know, of all the events that are going on in the world, it's people like Jonathan that are the most affected by that and most impacted by the chaos of the times that in the Metal Gear saga, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan is a pawn in a much larger game, but Snake helps him, like, gives him the opportunity to take control of his own situation, so that he can, like, have some sense of agency in his life again. And I think that's some of the deepest writing in the entire series.
I agree. I was genuinely surprised with how invested I became in this story. And not just in Jonathan's story, just in this whole creation. You know, this was supposed to be a side game that only a fraction probably of the Metal Gear community was going to end up playing. And in order to make that sell, I think they did what they had to. Obviously, it probably wasn't as successful as they hoped, I think. But to compensate for the very limited, playability, not even playability, just, you know, the other limited factors of bringing this game to a portable system.
Sure.
This story beat, I think, alone was enough for me to forgive all the frustrations I had with the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was definitely I think this was the moment of the game where I was like, I'm glad we did this one. Like, I'm like, this is, like, you can pick on the jank, you can pick on the camera, you can pick on the color palettes, like the stuff we still pick on because we're, you know, analyzing this game for episode to episode. But the story holds up, and definitely, like, I'm surprised we don't hear more about Jonathan when, like, YouTubers are like, top 10 Metal Gear. Like, Jonathan's a good character. And
Yeah,
it's a
he
good
is.
arc, and it's a good representation of moving on, of, like, he's like proto Raiden, right? Like, he's like the guy that's like, oh dude, you're big boss. Like, I've been reading up on you for years. Like, he is that kind of guy of just like, hey man, if you're as good as you say you are, we got this. To the point where he defends you to his death is pretty great, pretty powerful stuff. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I get it. It was a little sarcastic, Tori, because she called me out on my notes when she was going over them. But again, I mean, some people, were just like, the guy that, like, I've only been playing this game for like 5 hours. I'm supposed to care about this guy. I don't agree with that sort of, loosey-goosey mentality. I was pretty invested. I mean, Jonathan, I would say I'm a little more invested than Elisa. But Elisa, like, they almost had similar backstories. Like, Jonathan's the reason why we even knew what the hell was going on at San Geronimo anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, we got sent here to defend a nuclear base that basically they forgot about, so now we just sit here fucking doing nothing. I got a family at home. Like, we learned that there's a lot of stakes for him and the soldiers in general through him. Like, he's their arbiter, I guess, or like their voice.
Yeah, exactly. So. Exactly. That's the part that I think makes him stand out as a representation of something larger. You know, I think the community talks a lot about how Kojima sees the world and imitates it through his art, right? Some people like to call that that he's predicting, right? Predictions of the future. But I think it's more likely that Kojima sees these themes that have gone on in war-torn spaces, and he recreates them in his games. And this is definitely one of those that I was appreciative to have experienced, because I don't know, when a war is going on individually, I think we rarely think of how the soldiers are affected. Usually we're thinking, how is this going to affect me in my life? How is this going to affect the overall structure of our country and stuff like that? But in Jonathan's case and in his fellow soldiers' cases, like you said, Warren, they were left out to dry. You know what I mean? And that's a reality for a lot of people that engage in war. It's not just you fight for something noble and because you're fighting for something noble, you win. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I really appreciate Jonathan's character because it's eye-opening for how these things really go. And that's one thing that I appreciate about Kojima's storytelling. I'm not trying to be all up his ass or anything. Like I don't think he did everything perfectly with this game. He and team, I guess. I don't know how. I want to be careful to tread that territory, but
we'll just say the writers, because it includes his influence is clearly here, but then also there's clearly a separate voice.
Yeah.
Here. So if you just the writers get the credit, because I wouldn't know who to call out, and maybe it's a question to bother Ryan about, just to be like,
sure, yeah,
hey man, who decided on Jonathan? Like, catch us up, because I honestly, as we're talking about this, I think he's going to be the mascot,
Ryan,
of this season moving forward. Like Ryan,
Jonathan.
Like Jonathan's going to be like our baby.
Hey Ryan, do you want to be our mascot?
You want to be our Jonathan? So just a quick fun tidbit here, and we can do this. So we're recording a little ahead because we're trying to be very active with this stuff. So this episode is supposed to drop April 19th. Okay, so a little peek behind the curtain. Since the day after we drop this episode would be 420, I think we figure something out between now and 420. I think we make it like a Jonathan appreciation post, have a beer for him, do it in the Discord.
Oh, I'm down.
I think we do that. So we'll let our patrons know, and listeners, we'll find a way to include you guys. We'll try to post about it, or we'll talk about it after this. But I think we should do like a little Jonathan, pour one out for Jonathan on 420. I'm just throwing that out there now.
That's so sweet. And here's the thing. I want to go back to something you said earlier, Warren. I know that not everybody is going to care about Jonathan the way that I do. It's fine. He is, at the end of the day, he's an NPC, and an NPC that you don't even get a hell of a lot of interaction with unless, like me, you died as Snake in some boss battles that were tough and you relied on the rest of your alpha team. So I personally played as Jonathan a lot. And I think that probably lends a little bit to my love of him. I get that not everybody's going to be as into it or excited about discussing their feelings about Jonathan.
That's what we're doing this for, people. Have emotions. It's 2021.
Yeah, have a fucking heart. Jesus. But no, I like that idea, Warren, and I certainly will celebrate Jonathan on 420. Absolutely.
I think it's worth it just because it makes perfect sense. It's like I looked it up and I'm like, this seems too good to not bring up like during the recording. So, all right. So laying Jonathan to rest, I'm going to tell you guys, my choice as far as like how the story is going to flow, this is where we're going to end this episode of Metal Gear Monday's Revengeance Portable Ops Edition.
Ooh, so leaving you on a traumatic note.
Like, what are we going to do now that we've lost Elisa and Jonathan? Gene is gone. We know Ocelot's involved. There's another Metal Gear. Like, shit is lit right now.
And Cunningham's still out there, that psycho bastard.
Cunningham's out there. He's still ready to go. And Null. We still have Null, too. We know he's still around. So yeah, there's still a lot to talk about.
I'm sorry. Did you guys find it jarring that we were fighting a Metal Gear at this point in the game and we still had a pretty good amount to cover afterwards? Because usually Metal Gear, except in Peace Walker Onward, I guess, Metal Gear is something you expect towards the end of the game. It's like end game status. So, and I know that it was a test model, and I appreciate that as a piece of the story. But when it came to actually fighting Metal Gear Raja, were you guys prepared for that?
Me personally, no. I thought it was soon. I thought I was way closer to the end than I was when I played it, because I was like, oh shit, there's got to be one more half-naked fist fight at the rubble of Raja, right? Like, that's what we're doing? That's how this works? Like, Gene's gonna show his fucking sculpted abs underneath that dope jacket and his hat?
Either that or a sword fight, right?
Yeah, some sort of laser sword fight or some crazy shit. I don't know, Chris. What did you think?
I mean, as far as my expectations on the normalcy of the situation, it's not really any different at all from some of the crazy stuff that we experienced later on in the franchise.
Sure.
It's fair.
The pacing is a little strange to me and a little foreign, but I think that's just because it was the first time they tried to take a Metal Gear experience and make it portable in the sense like, well, I don't know, Ghost Babel predates this.
It
But
does.
Ghost Babel is basically just an NAS game on a portable, right? And this is like a game with a portable mindset design focus. So
Correct. Yeah, it's not just ported, quote unquote. It was designed in mind, right?
Right. And I think you have to look at the plot beats from that perspective for it to make sense.
Sure. Well, good. Well, let us know, guys, how you feel about the placement of this Metal Gear fight and how you feel about Jonathan. Yeah, this is going to wrap up another episode of Metal Gear Mondays Revengeance Portable Ops Edition. Before we do our little sign-offs, again, guys, we appreciate all the downloads and however you listen to us. If you find a way to rate and review, we would greatly appreciate it, and we have noticed that you guys have been doing that, which is fantastic. We love you dearly for that. We have a Patreon at Metal Gear Mondays. You can sign up on our Discord for $1 a month. We have a lot of stuff outside of that. If you increase, we do on the off weeks, we drop episodes. We do a Metal Gear. We have a game club, a monthly game club. We have a monthly movie club now, which we are dubbing MGM Goes to the Movies. We are still trying to figure out how we're going to talk about them in a more case, but we always drop an episode now. We're committing to that. As well as some merch. You can get at bit.ly/MGM store. And I guess MetalGearMondays.com if you want to, see what's going on with current host, previous host. If you want to find a way to contact, that's like one of the easiest ways to do it. But otherwise, Tori, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me in the Discord and some other social places at Young Neil. It's YNGNEIL. You can find me mourning the loss of my sweet and beloved Jonathan at some random graveyard with some. What are those flowers that we had for the boss? Or what are those, lilies or?
Oh no, I think they're a kind of lily.
Oh no, I think it's cherry blossom.
Twitter
Actually,
police.
It's definitely cherry blossom. God,
The cherry blossoms.
yeah, you can find me at your local graveyard with holding a bouquet of cherry blossoms.
Local graveyard. Chris, how about you, man? Where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on LinkedIn, getting that grind on, or in the
Hey.
Discord.
Hey, there it is. There it is. Yeah, and I guess for me, you can find me at Warren Minix on all the socials. That I'm old, so I don't use them very much. I'm Untaggable Gamer if it matters, and I change my name weekly in the Discord, but you can find me there a ton. I think outside of one final drop so we are going to be doing a listener episode at the end of this season. It'll come out like late June is our plan. So as you're listening to this, we're going to set a date for June 14th. If we can have your responses by June 14th would be perfect. We may slide that date around here and there, but the intent is that the episode will drop at the end of June based on that. But as you are hearing this, there'll be a lot of time between this recording dropping and June 14th. So again, guys, we thank you so much for listening, downloading, subscribing, whatever you do to do this. And I think it's time to let it rip, Jack.
been a while since I did that one.